If you've ever felt like you've done everything in your power to win your match and no matter what, you still lost that match, this video is definitely for you. Many players experience the same exact thing and they really don't understand what to do from there. If you did your absolute best and you still lost, how do you even start to improve on that? By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to do during those matches and how to turn those losses into wins. Of course, as I say in every single video, if you would like your own personal replay review, check that highlighted pinned comment down below. Free replay review for you. Of course, members do get priority, so if you're helping to support the channel, you get to jump in front of the line. And if you want more of a hands-on approach, check out my coaching session, link down below in the description. There is something for everyone. Whether you have school, you're a parent, you work jobs, and you don't have time to have a full-on coaching session. And if you want more of a hands-on and you want to talk one-on-one with me, there's an option. So there's an option for everyone. I highly recommend checking it out. There is one word to determine whether you win or lose a match. There is one word to determine whether or not you did your absolute best. It is called impact. Now, of course, you guys know me. I like to keep things simple, make it basic so you guys can have a solid foundation on what you're trying to learn. So I'm gonna put it on the screen so that way you guys can look at this and refer to it as we're going through the replay. So let's go through this replay and we'll see whatever play that we make. Is it, is it positive impact, negative impact, high impact, low impact? So we go out right now and we look for a nest. Got the nest, good job, right? And now I would assume we're gonna get the other nest. Yep, exactly. We get the next nest. Boom. Perfect. Perfect. Is this a positive impact or a negative impact play? Does this make the game easier for our team? No, it doesn't. This is a negative impact play. Why? Why? We got the nest. Your team should be able to fight. Well, you have to think about it. Where's your team going to fight here in the first place? Realistically speaking, no. Right? They're not going to fight here. The cart's not even moving yet. So realistically, they probably are going to turn around and start fighting the Spider-Man. So this doesn't help. On top of that, you're half HP, which means your healers have to worry about you or you have to fight in a health pack. This effectively means you're out the fight. On top of that, you have no cooldowns, right? You just use 2 of them. So you don't have invisibility for 15 seconds unless you start shooting people, which lowers your cooldowns. And you don't have your shotgun blast thing for 5 seconds. So not only are you low, not only do you not have cooldowns, but you're basically making the team fight 6v5. This is not a positive impact play. Does this change the outcome of the fights? It doesn't, because again, they're not gonna fight where the nest is. The play continues to go through. Hawkeye still gets blown up, right? Just because he walked on the web. It wasn't even a nest situation. He just walked on the web. Your invisible woman gets taken out due to Spider-Man being in the back. And now your team is getting chased down. Meanwhile, where are we? Looking for a health pack. So this is almost 30 seconds of us just not being in the fight. This entire play was not positive. It made the game harder for your team and it didn't change the outcome. Right? These are the things that we're thinking about when we play. A really good thing to do as a player, it doesn't matter, is to just always check your enemy team. When you look at the team, you know that there's an Iron Fist and a Spider-Man. They're probably gonna dive. So instead of looking for the nest when your team isn't even close to it, you could be looking to defend against the dive. All right, so your team gets back, we get refocused, we're playing our game, destroying the nest, definitely positive impact. Okay, you're also zoning them back. Does this make the game easier? Yes, they're only fighting one character right now because you keep pushing them back with your blast. So you destroyed the nest, positive, right? High impact. It makes it so that we don't have to worry about stepping on traps. I mean, there's another nest right there, but you get the idea. And then we also push them back. Very positive impact, make the game easier for your team, and it does change the outcome of the fight. If they're not there, it's basically him versus 6 players. Very well done. Okay, from here, Iron Fist starts to chase you, right? And you run back to your team, which is fine. Spider-Man dives your back line, and what do? We decide to continue to shoot the back line instead of going for the Spider-Man. Emma Frost takes out Iron Fist. Good job, right? But did we do anything there? No. We didn't really have a positive impact or a negative impact, and didn't really change the outcome of the fight. Everything played out regardless if you were there or not. So we didn't really participate in that one. Storm is going in with their ultimate here. You're coming back to try to clean up. Perfect. I noticed you have a very Your mindset is not to fight the other DPS. This isn't just you. A lot of DPS players don't like to fight their other counterparts, but in situations like this, when you know that they're always diving, and especially mindlessly, a lot of players that play dive DPS don't really think about diving. They just do it over and over and over again. You could literally just sit here and wait for them to do it, KO them, and move on. I don't know if you're nervous about trying to land shots on high mobile heroes, but to make this game easier for your team and have a positive impact throughout, just sit here on cart, let it push, because this is literally the objective, to push the cart, and just wait for them to come in. Once they come in, blast them, boom, job done, keep moving. Blast them, boom, job done, keep moving. Very simple way to play this specific match, and you would definitely change the outcome of the fight. You would have positive impact and high impact every single time that this happened. So I would actually like to see you change your gameplay based off who you're going against, because right now it just seems like we do the same thing from match to match to match, and there is no variation depending on who you're going against. You see how long it took for us to focus Spider-Man? Now you could say, well, Poppin, they were kind of low and I wanted to go for them. True, but if we decided to, let's just say that Spider-Man was actually very, very good. He takes out one, he ults, takes out another, and your whole team gets wiped. Maybe the Iron Fist with the Spider-Man, because they were both on your back line, they all do that at the same time and they wipe your team, and now you're just stuck. Like, okay, well, I guess I have to wait for my team to respawn. These are things that can be avoided if you were to play to them. You need to focus on having a positive impact and high impact. So here we're chasing Spider-Man. We went really deep on Spider. We get him. Ask ourselves, positive impact. Did we make the game easier for our team? Not really, because nothing's happening, right? Low impact, does it change the outcome? Really, because he wasn't fighting them. He didn't do anything. What you just didn't really do anything for your team. But looks like we're gonna get KO'd. And we do. Now we have to ask ourselves, this just made the game harder, definitely. Negative impact play. Does it change the outcome of your team's chances of pushing the cart? No, right? If anything, it just made it harder for them. So be very careful when we're doing things like this. Doing our thing, Spider-Man comes in, you try to focus them, cool. Definitely positive impact, and definitely high impact. Perfect, beautiful, I love it. Okay. Now we need to try to destroy the nest. Oh shoot, he already destroyed it. Hawkeye is using his ultimate. You're going deep into the back line. You pop your ult. This is a lot to unpack. You dove back. Your team isn't losing this fight. What happened? Why did we lose this fight, bro? What happened? I went to their back line. I took out their healers. Like, what, bro? I did work. Why did we lose this fight? Did we though? Let's take a look at that again. If we had a positive impact, negative impact, high impact, low impact. Let's see. So you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. All right. You ult the back line. What happens? So far, so good. Spider-Man comes in. Right? Iron Fist is there. And it's safe to say what I said last time that didn't happen, that it seemed very hypothetical, happened this time. Spider-Man and Iron Fist dove your backline while you were busy doing some other stuff. You see what I mean? So even though I've never seen the replay, I just know that's what happened. This is why you can't ignore certain heroes like that, because when you go make your play, you're going to end up in a situation where they dive your team, they wipe your team, and you're just sitting there like, what? I did my job, bro. Why are you guys getting KO'd? Always play to the comp that you're going against. If you are going against some heavy divers, you know you have to play a little bit more reserved. You can't constantly dive the backline. As a Psylocke is basically a diver too, let's be honest. As a diver, these are things we don't think about, and these are the reasons why games are a lot harder for dive characters. This is also one of the reasons why I say dive characters generally have an easier time climbing. I won't put Psylocke in that category because she requires more mechanics in my opinion. But this is why, well, I'm not gonna lie, bro, you can just charge your ult and just, anyway, we're not gonna talk about that. But regardless, this is why a lot of dive DPS players have issues and start hitting walls back to back to back to back, because they typically climb without having to think about more or less the game knowledge aspect, because they could just dive, get KOs, win the fight, boom, and just keep doing that. But you'll eventually hit a wall where that's not gonna work. You're gonna eventually hit a wall where you're going to need to think about how these comps play out. You're against a Spider-Man and an Iron Fist. It's way better for you to just chill out, wait for them to dive, KO the team, proceed from there. Why? Because the enemy's comp is basically, you can't really do anything about that. You only have one diver on your team unless you. So unless you can 1v6, don't think you can, it's just safer to just hang with your team. So what we did was it a high impact, low impact? It was a pretty low impact play. Was it a negative impact? It didn't make the game harder. I do think it did make it easier, but the fact that you weren't there, let's just say that Spider-Man and Iron Fist never did that. The fact that you weren't there did make the game more difficult. But it was easier if everything fell into place properly. Like, oh, I took the healers out and now we could fight without the healers. Yes, positive. But this specific match, it was a negative play because you were gone and their backline just destroyed yours. So keep that in mind. You know, you always have to think about things like this. Okay, so we ended up getting that first point. We're pushing a little bit. I don't know why they only have one tank. Oh, okay. They don't. I thought they did. Maybe they swapped. No, they always had two tanks. Never mind. That was your team. So we're looking to try to destroy the totem there. We're fighting Rocket. We had to go invisible. It seems like Spider-Man's kind of trolling. He's like not playing the game. You dive the back line. Going after Rocket. Maybe we're typing. Or maybe you had to go do something. That's probably what you had to do. Okay, we're going back. You ult their back line. Okay. Everything's pretty textbooked. Now, I will say, we know that Iron Fist dove your backline with ultimate. We heard him, ult. And we know that Spider-Man was back there too. However, this time you guys ended up winning the fight. So the first time it happened, you won the fight. The second time it happened, you lost the fight. The third time it happened, you won the fight. We really have to be a little bit more cautious and not coin flip things like this. This is why players feel like games are kind of out of their control, because they do coin flip plays that are 50-50s, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And let's just say it landed on, your team wipes like 3 times in a row. My team sucks, blah, blah, blah. No, you're just making coin flip plays, and it just so happened to never go in your favor the entire match. Be very careful about that. We know what's gonna happen. Before you're aggressive, you need to make sure that your team is safe. You need to make sure that your team is okay. Then you can go be aggressive and do whatever you want. This goes for every single role. It is not just DPS. Every role needs to make sure the team is okay first before they want to go ahead and do whatever they need to do. Because if they do what they wanted to do first without thinking about that, their team gets wiped. And again, we're sitting there waiting for them to spawn. Very important. Okay, pushing this third point here. Angela was able to get someone to get pushed off. Nice. We're still watching. We're a little bit close for comfort, not gonna lie, but we're not gonna focus on that at the moment. Iron Fist comes in, tries to fight you. You back up a little bit. Go to their backline. You ult their backline. You get a few KOs. Yeah, you get 3, you get 4. Cool. And I think that's pretty much point. It's about to be. So, in this particular context, what you just did was kind of lucky. This is what tends to happen until you get to really high rank. And this is why I said dive characters are low-key busted. You don't get to do things like that for free in high ranks. The fact that we just walked up and ulted is kind of ridiculous, right? And I only point that out because you're going to consistently try to make that same play. And should a team understand what you're going for, you're going to get destroyed. And you might be thinking, well, then, my team sucks, or, I just played it poorly, or the whole play itself wasn't a good play. You just got away with it because the rank isn't high. And I only point this out because it's very important that we understand this. It doesn't matter if I'm in a coaching session, doesn't matter if I'm in a replay review, I don't care where it's at. Identifying what plays work because you played it well versus what plays worked because they were bad is something that you really need to hone in, because you're going to continue to develop these bad habits that are going to cost you matches later on. And when you continue to do that and you start having those matches start being losses, you're going to start going on a loss streak, not know why. Well, you develop poor habits in the first place to get to where you were, and then now it's not working and you don't know what to do anymore. I'm not saying that's what you're thinking now. I'm just saying off of that one play itself, that's literally what that was. There's no way that should have worked. No way. So just keep that in mind when you're making plays. Ask yourself realistically, did I do that well? Or, did they just happen to suck? Always ask yourself that. So moving on into the next round, We weren't able to get to the third point, just Cloak and Dagger ultimate. Wasn't really much to talk about. Cloak and Dagger ultimate is OP, in my opinion. All right, moving down to this, we're gonna ask ourselves the same exact thing: positive, negative, high impact, low impact. All right, so that play right there, just that play in general. High impact, low impact, positive, negative. Well, did it make the game easier for your team? Your team is over there, so no. Does it change the outcome of them pushing? Not really, right? What I would like to see, instead of you holding there, hold here. Wait for those supports to get a little bit closer. One shot, one support, possibly get double. That's a high impact play, and it makes the game easier for your team. Think more outside the box. Your playstyle is very forward, and you have to remember she's an assassin. Although, yes, you can charge your ultimate and you can get the ult and all that extra good stuff, a lot of your playstyle is very brawl heavy. It's kind of a great way to put it. You're not playing Psylocke like she's an assassin, you're playing Psylocke like she's a brawler. Which is a time and place for everything, don't get me wrong. But you can get a lot more accomplished doing this play back there. So you need to know when to turn it on and off. So we are back on the map. Of course, getting KO'd made the game harder for your team. Now we start staggering. All of that came from your play specifically. And the higher you get, the more this will happen. The higher you get, the more one pick will turn into a snowball, like a crazy snowball. You have to let them, get that space back. Not much you can do. And you're just gonna chill. What I would like for you to do is be more sneaky. You're still trying to play frontline for some reason. Go look for a spot to hang and chill out. Wait for the play to start unfolding and then look to attack. If you notice your backline constantly gets dove by Iron Fist and Spider-Man, well then play near them a little bit more. But it doesn't seem like they're that successful when they do it when they're trying to push on defense. It seems like your team could handle it now. This is very basic, but this is pretty much how the basic foundation of how you want to play really much any character, but Psylocke, because she's just more sneaky, that's kind of added there. But you want to go to the back line when your team is fine and you're just waiting for a play to unfold. The fight hasn't started yet. They're just kind of poking each other. You're waiting for it to start. If your team can play that part well and they don't need you, sneak. You want to frontline when your team is getting pushed back super hard or they can't really hold their ground and they just constantly have to retreat. You should be playing frontline, add to the numbers, add to the damage, make sure that they can't push you guys in. When should you peel? We already established this one. When your team needs you more, when your backline is getting dove all the time, well, you're gonna start needing to peel. You might have to change these play styles within seconds, within minutes, who knows, within rounds, but it's always something to keep in mind just at a basic level. All right, so we're going back to the next fight. We hear your team's ulting. Again, you guys should not be able to win this fight. Like, if you guys win, okay, yeah, this should have happened last time. I do not know how your team was able to retake this. I do not know how, because that should have happened last time. This literally is the whole entire game. The whole gameplay is coin flips. Flip, will they dive my backline or will I be able to make a play without them diving my backline? Flip, can we retake this point or can we not retake this point? And it's not just a you thing. This is a collective. Your entire team is playing this way. We have to really nip this in the butt when it comes to nip this in the bud when it comes to our gameplay and how we're executing plays. Okay, we need to understand what's a coin flip and what's not a coin flip. If you want to climb to higher ranks, you're going to have to be the catalyst for your team to start getting the wins. When you start playing like, oh, this play's not going to work, back up, back up, back up, that's going to be when you start having more impact. Making the game easier for your team is also just being able to identify a bad fight and a good fight. I've even done this in bronze, silver, gold. There's no excuse. No matter what rank you are, you do not need to take bad fights, period. You can't control what your teammates do, but you can control what you do. The more fights you take that are bad, and then you end up getting KO'd, that's less time you get to play the match. I'm not gonna do the math for you, but let's look at these stats. You got KO'd 7 times. This means you were off the map for 10 seconds because you have to respawn, and then you have to walk yourself back. So we're gonna add an extra 10 seconds because Psylocke can dash and stuff, you know what I mean? So we're gonna say every death costs you 20 minutes. I'm not gonna do the math for the time, but you can do it. 7 times 20, right? That's a lot of time to be off the map. That's a lot of fights you could be missing. That's a lot of setup time that you're missing out on because you're KO'd. Well, it all comes back to understanding what you should and should not be able to get away with. And when you start playing to like, oh, we only got away with that because you're bad. We can't really do that. I only got away with it because I noticed that someone did something stupid and I was able to clean that up. Versus, let's just go for the play. Big difference, big difference. So at the end of the day, the rest of the match was more of the same, right? What I would like to see from you, what I would like to see more in your gameplay is be more sneaky. You're not a frontline character. You're not a brawl character. You are an assassin. That takes priority first. How can I take out a target without them noticing and getting away with it? That is your priority number one when it comes to playing Sidelock. Yes, you can alter how you play by, frontlining, or, you can alter all this extra stuff, but you need to hone in on the sneaky part first, because we're just way too there. We need to not be seen. You need to be out of sight, basically. She literally says it, out of sight. Like, you need to be out of sight. The other thing is going to be to really identify plays and opportunities. A lot of your fights are just spur of the moment. Maybe you're thinking about it as you play, but when it comes to looking at your gameplay, a lot of it is just like, I'm fighting because I'm here. It's not like, oh, I'm waiting for this to happen, I'm waiting for this person to get to this spot, I'm waiting for them to do that. Nope, it's just like, I see you, shoot, 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 shoot. I see you, shoot, 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 shoot. And that's just not how we shoot. So be more sneaky, adjust your playstyle based off what's happening in these team fights, and be more purpose driven. Why are we doing something? And really identify, is it working because it's a good play, or is it working because these players suck? Whether you are a viewer watching this video struggling with this concept or any other concepts, again, remember to check out that highlighted pinned comment down below for a free review. Get your game reviewed. If you are a member, you do get priority. And again, if you want more of a hands-on approach, you want to get more out of it than just a replay review, check my coaching link down below in the description. I have something for everybody. Again, whether you have kids, whether you're working, you just don't have a lot of time, I have options for that. And again, if you want more of we talk together and we kind of hang out more and discuss what's going on, there's options for that as well. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, you know what I always say. You guys are doing what? Happen often, with often.